everyone, it's Elizabeth again. Oh my gosh, 2 videos in one day? What? It's because I found out about the Very Merry Readathon. I have been looking for a readathon that I can join ever since I found out that they were a thing, and I was like, oh dang. And since I have some time on my hands, I decided that I was going to join the Very Merry Readathon. So, I've combed through my books, trying to find some books that will fit the theme. One of them has to take place during the holidays. One of them has to have like Christmassy stuff on the cover, and then the other one has to be just something that I want to read. Now, I could have combined all three. I didn't. I've decided to do the three, and I am going to talk about which ones I've chosen. So the very first one that I have chosen is actually the Doomsday book by Connie and Willis. And it is a book that takes place during the Christmas holidays, but not in the way that you'd expect. Oh no. In the Doomsday book, a woman actually travels back in time to the medieval era during Christmas. So, from everything I've heard, Connie Willis is sort of like a badass science fiction writer, and she also gets her history pretty good. So I thought that I would read this. And also, fun fact, I realized that I tried to read this in Turkish while I was living in Turkey. Yeah, I might have gotten a little bit over ambitious because it was the first year I was living there and I didn't know a lot of Turkish, so it was one of those things where I was looking up a word every 5 seconds. And so I picked this up because it had a really cool cover, and I was like, ooh, I want to do this. And I also didn't want to read Twilight, which is the one everyone was suggesting because it's a really easy book, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get ambitious. And so I remember specifically, like, there's a, like, I only got through the first paragraph, but I remember specifically that in the first paragraph, this, in English, it says, Mr. Dunworthy opened the door to the laboratory and his spectacles promptly steamed up. Yeah, no. In Turkish, I mistranslated that not as spectacles, but as goggles. So I was very confused. So I'm going to read this in English for the Very Merry Readathon. Yeah! The second book that I'm going to read, I'm kind of doing this because I feel like I should, is The Shack by W.M. Paul Young. Okay. I chose this one because it has the Christmassy stuff on the cover. But yeah, so I've decided to read The Shack. The Shack is about a man whose daughter disappears, and he has dad issues, and like his dad versus also him as a father whose daughter was kidnapped, so you know, he's obviously a failure. And he receives an invitation from Papa, which I guess is his wife's pet name for God, to come back to the shack where his daughter was kidnapped, I guess. And it's, the big draw for it is that it has a really interesting portrayal of the Godhead. So God is portrayed as a big black woman. Jesus is portrayed as a Arabic carpenter, probably. I mean, maybe Arabic, probably Jewish. And I believe the Holy Spirit is portrayed as a Asian woman gardener. So, we'll see. I'm going to go into this with an open mind just because I really hate the idea of just disliking a genre of fiction that's supposed to be marketed towards me as a Christian. I always want to give it a shot, and every time I do, I'm kind of disappointed, so I hope that I'm not disappointed in this one. The last book that I have chosen is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Also, this book is falling apart, but that's because secondhand books don't lie, and that's fine. But I've chosen this book because a couple of years ago I was actually in a book club, and we chose books by month based on the theme of the month December was obviously like a Christmassy, cozy kind of theme, and I didn't get to be there for that month, but because I'd moved. But the book that was chosen was Little Women, and so I was told that it's really easy to read, and that it's a very good book. I remember watching the movie when I was younger with Winona Ryder, I believe, and Kirsten Dunst, and a bunch of other people. Claire Danes, I think, was Beth. And I loved it. It was amazing, and I still love it. But I'll be interested to see how the book differs from the movie. So those are my 3 books for a Very Merry Readathon. I am cautiously optimistic about all of them. And I hope that this works out. Okay. Here we go. I'll see you guys later. Bye.